This video is on neutralization reactions. A neutralization reaction is a reaction between an acid and a base. When an acid and a base react together, the products are always water, which we like to write here as HOH, and you'll see why in a minute, and salt. Now, salt is a generic term for an ionic compound. In an ionic compound and a salt, they can be neutral, or depending upon what they're reacted with, they could be slightly basic if it's a weak acid and a strong base, or they could be slightly acidic if it's a strong acid and a weak base. Neutralization does not always mean a pH of exactly 7, although it gets our pH closer to 7. Now, in neutralization reaction, we have our acid plus we have our base, and they're going to react together to make our salt and water. It's a double replacement reaction where my hydrogen and the cation in front of my base are going to switch places. So I get Ba, and which is my salt, and I get HOH, which is my water. And then, of course, I balance. So let's do an example. Phosphoric acid ends in IC, so it came from phosphate. Phosphate is PO4, that -3 charge. This means I have 3 hydrogens on the front. Reacts with barium hydroxide. Barium has a charge of +2, hydroxide of -1, so they switch down. So I get BaOH2. I know that one of my products is going to be water, and I need to know what my other one is. So again, the front half of my base switches places with my hydrogen. So I have BaPO4 plus, then my hydrogen comes here. Remember, I just write my elements first. Now I go and I look at the charges. Barium has a charge of +2. Phosphate has a charge of -3. They crisscross down, so I get Ba3. PO4 is a polyatomic, so I have my parentheses around it, and the 2 comes outside. Hydrogen is +1, hydroxide's -1, so they crisscross and cancel out. Now I need to balance. I like to skip balancing my hydrogens first, and it's easiest if you balance the salt first. So we'll balance salt first, and you'll see why. 3 bariums here, 1 barium here, so I add the 3 in front, so it gives me 3 bariums, 3 bariums. 2 phosphates here, because this applies to the whole bit. 1 phosphate here, so I add a 2 in front, so it gives me 2 phosphates and 2 phosphates. Now I check my hydrogens and hydroxides. 2 times 3 gives me 6 hydrogens here. 1 hydrogen, because this one goes with the OH, so I put a 6 in front. 3 times 2 gives me 6 hydroxides here, and 6 in front applies to both of them, so 6 hydroxides there. So like I said, easiest to balance the salt first, and then the other ones fall into place. My next one, I have hydrochloric acid. Hydroic came from chloride. Chloride is Cl-1, so just 1 hydrogen on the front. Reacts with sodium hydroxide. Sodium's in group 1, so +1. Hydroxide -1, so that's NaOH. They're going to react together. They're going to make a salt and water. So my second one I know is going to be HOH for water. And my front part of my base is going to switch with the front part of my acid. So the hydrogen and my cation are going to swap places. So I get NaCl. Sodium is +1, chloride is -1, so they cancel out. And no subscripts here, so it is already balanced.